A weird thing happened in the NBA the other day. Russell Westbrook came to the podium and called out all the pieces of Sacramento Kings media, which is like, Brody has done something like this on a couple different of his stops. He did it in OKC. This is something that he does occasionally. But the reason I'm bringing this up at the top of the show is because we just did an episode of Numbers on the Board where we gave one thing we learned about all Western Conference teams. And we did it in order of standings. And as you know, the Sacramento Kings are in the middle of the worst season in franchise history. So they were the last team that we talked about. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you watched that episode, I didn't have anything that I learned about the Sacramento Kings. You want to know why? Because everything that has happened this season is, par for the course. I made a joke a couple weeks ago on Twitter that didn't go over well for Sacramento Kings fans. And I understand when somebody take a shot at your team, whether they're the worst team in the league, the best team in the league, you're going to get defensive. You're going to stand up for your guys. I respect that. The joke that I made was I was starting to watch some of these other guys. I was starting to watch Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer, AJ DeBontas of the world, the Caleb Wilsons of the world. And my joke was, man, one of these guys is going to end up in Sacramento, And it had nothing to do with the fan base. It has nothing even to do with the players that are currently on the roster. It has everything to do with the ownership group and the management group. And Russell Westbrook went out there and he called out the media for whatever reason. I don't read Sacramento Kings blog posts. I don't know what's going on between the George reporter and Russell Westbrook. I don't know what he said or who was right and who was wrong. But what I do know is that Russell Westbrook is a guy that usually doesn't talk too much unless these key buzzwords or buzz things happen. Like you start to call him out of his name, obviously. You start to question his integrity as a person and things like that. Like a lot of the times if you talk about the basketball stuff, Russell Westbrook, he cares, but he doesn't care enough to call you out. So I don't know exactly what happened there, but it kind of encompasses like all of the wrong things that are happening in Sacramento, not the media, not Russell Westbrook, but like how did that video go on for as long as it did? As somebody that has been in that scrum before, just a few times, by the way, just a few times. It's not like I'm there on a nightly basis. The PR team is pretty on edge when it comes to these things. There are certain questions that they may get asked, but the PR team will step in and say, no, we can't do that. There's certain times where the PR team just comes up and say, okay, Russell Westbrook is done for the day because they feel like things are about to get heated and this is not good PR. They let Brody go for like 7 minutes, calling out everybody in the room. And it was awkward for Russell Westbrook. It was awkward for the people in that room because though Brody called them out, he didn't call them out for specifics. Damn it, I don't read the blog posts that the Kings are doing. So I would have loved for Brody to be like, hey, you right there, you wrote this, and I don't like that. But when they asked him, what specifically are you talking about? He's just like, I be reading the stuff. And I'm like, damn, bro, this is your time to really go. And then when the people were called out, they didn't stand on the ground. So it was just, nobody looked good in the situation. And I feel like that is the toughest part about it all, So yeah, Darren Peterson, who just had another amazing game, might end up in Sacramento, or Cam Boozer, or AJ DeBonta, or Caleb Wilson. At this point, the lowest they can go is 5. So who's the 5th guy? Is it Kingston Fleming? I don't even know who the 5th guy is. One of those guys is going to end up in Sacramento next season. And though a lot of those guys that I just mentioned have the opportunity and the potential to turn things around, I just look at the way the team is ran, and I just don't have a lot of hope, right? Darren Peterson could be the best prospect since Victor Wembanyama, since Cooper Flag just last season. But do we feel like the management group is going to make the right decisions around him if they get that talent? That is the thing we talk about all the time when it comes to tanking. The thing that matters the most is having the fans have some level of hope at the end of the day. And I'm sure Kings fans are hopeful because this is a terrible season and they're guaranteed a top 5 pick, right? Or top 5 pick. But then I think that hope will eventually die down because you recognize that, yeah, we got this young 18, 19-year-old in the door, but the man is making decisions, has been making decisions for the last 15 years, and I feel like he's made one great decision this entire time. So I don't know, Kings fans. I'm rooting for you, not for the organization, because damn it, I think the Vivek should be selling. I think that everybody in there should be fired, but I'm rooting for the fan base more than anything because that fan base cares. And they still are packing out the house, even though it's like, I don't know, DeMar DeRozan long mid-range jumpers this late in the season. Like, you know what I mean? There's some crazy stuff going on. So shout out to the Kings. The Russell Westbrook day was a little bit.
Hit subscribe for more news, highlights, and analysis from the NBA on NBC.